Good afternoon. My name is Rick Doughton, and on behalf of the Tarkanian family, I welcome you all of you here to this memorial service. We are a packed crowd. Please be patient. There are more seats being brought in. And what a wonderful testament that we begin on this sold-out kind of spirit. But as we begin, I'd like to just state the obvious. We've come from a lot of different parts of Southern California, perhaps even further. There's some of you that are cousins, siblings, families. Some of you are athletes and were mentored by Myron, Tarkanian. Some of you knew him. He was a friend through his work. We don't have a lot in common, all of us. We are different backgrounds. We have different beliefs. Very, very different beliefs. So what's amazing is that we are one right now. We are one. We are a community of love. We have gathered here out of respect and admiration and love for our fellow who is now passed ahead of us. And so in that spirit, grateful for how we've all been called, I'd like us just to take a moment, each one of us in our own way, to in silence, center yourself. Just take some deep breaths and be grateful. Grateful that you have been brought here to share in this respect, admiration, and love. To share in this celebration of life. I ask that you trust me as your guide for just a little while. Together we will listen to music, watch videos, listen to poetry, personal reflections, and prayers. Feel free, well, there's no right way to experience this, so you feel free to cry, to laugh, to cry some more, to laugh some more, as you're led through the memories of this exceptional man and his life. No one likes to think about death. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Every breath we take, every heartbeat we have blocks out death. It pushes it away and keeps us focused on living. That's nature. However, there are moments and times when life itself asks us to stop and to look death right in the eye. Really, when you consider it, life and death are two sides of the exact same coin. We spend most of our time dealing with all the details of life. We relate to death, unfortunately, only in terms of its pain, suffering, loss, the unknown. All of it seems very uncomfortable. Death carries a mysterious element and is an unpredictable event, difficult to fully understand. But on the flip side, if we're really honest, so is life. We paint death as the villain and life as the hero, and that's not the case. It's all woven together. Life isn't as good as we make it out to be, and those of you who have been alive for a few years know that it can be awful. And death is not just about pain and suffering. The beautiful quote in the program that we are given just speaks of it so much over and over again. Death also means a looking back at life, not just at loss, but at what was. We feel, and it's a lie, we feel like we're in charge of life. We feel like we are in charge. There's a man in here who last week thought he was in charge, and he went out for his evening stroll, where he always goes, a simple evening stroll. But he decided to have it out with a pickup truck that he did not see. And well, the pickup won. Boom! He will be on crutches and have to deal with that for quite a while. The point being this: he thought he was in charge, he thought he knew what was going to happen, but no. Accidents, things change all the time for all of us. And this is a moment when we are reminded of that. And when we get to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to try to be a director of my own life, but there's a lot of times when I can't be. There's a lot of times when I need to let life be in charge. Some people say I need to let God be in charge, a higher power, however you want to put it. Death and life can present us with more questions than answers. What is the solution for us? I think that we're asked at profound moments like this to simply let go, to stop worrying about the questions and the answers. You see, in the end, I think it takes a moment like this. It's something that's like a gut punch. It knocks the air out of you. And for just a second, is it really an adequate answer to why Myron isn't right here with us? Can anybody give us a good answer? No. The reality is he's not. However, he is in all respects other than physical. He is here in your hearts, in your memories, in ways that no one can ever change or take away from you. Yeah. How wonderful that he is in our lives in so many ways. Imagine that there are his childhood friends is here, at least one, if not more. How did that happen? How did the stars get arranged so that 60 years ago kids would get together and suddenly be together again later at this momentous time, at his passing? Wow. The University of Redlands. No offense, it's a great school, nice school, but nothing that's extraordinary about it. Really? But there was on campus in a law class, I believe, or some kind of legal class, in which he cast his eye upon a young girl, and she cast her eye back, and we know where that casting led, to a big, ginormous family here. That's what happened. But you can't look at it just like today. No, no. It started back at the University of Redlands. Who guessed that? Who could have planned that out? Who could have made that perfect line to being here today? That's something beyond all of us. The children who grew into adults, who have more children, who my guess is will have more children. And, you know, there's no answer to how did that happen. It happened because it happened. It's life. What is left is simply an invitation for all of us. An invitation to be grateful and thankful as you continue throughout this time right now to listen and to watch. be thankful, and be grateful.
St. Francis. Lord, let me make an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it's in giving that we receive, and it's in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
behalf of the family, I want to convey our sincere gratitude and appreciation for the outpouring of love and support you have all given us since our father's passing. We were comforted individually and collectively by all of your kind words, deeds, and generosity. We love you. It is good to be here at the Rose Bowl today. To the family, it seemed like an appropriate venue to honor my father and celebrate his life. As a small child growing up in Pasadena, post-World War II, my dad would ride his bicycle to and around the Rose Bowl. He would accompany his beloved older brother Jerry to watch the Cleveland Browns preseason training sessions here at the Rose Bowl. And he spent countless hours playing in the park around the bowl. In 1960, while in college at a really good university, he actually played in a football game right here at the Rose Bowl. The Redland Bulldogs beat the Caltech Beavers. Before less people than are in this room today. He and Harvey Hyde even started their first unofficial business venture right around the Rose Bowl in the adjacent homeowners section. They turned unsuspecting homeowners' driveways into paid parking spaces. Like his beloved mother before him, my dad loved the beautiful San Gabriel Mountains that serve as a backdrop to this historic venue. I want to thank Coach Hyde and the Hyde family for facilitating access to this special place that has hosted so many champions. Today, we are collected together to say goodbye to another champion, Myron Tarkanian. Champion husband, father, grandfather, uncle, coach, teacher, mentor, boss, and friend. This room is filled with people over the full spectrum of his amazing life. His childhood friends from Pasadena, his fraternity and football playing buddies from the University of Redlands, his colleagues from the coaching profession, his work family at Pasadena City College, where he coached and or taught for 37 years over 5 different decades, his former players and students whom he inspired, our neighbors from Arcadia, where our family has lived in the same house for 50 years, his nieces and nephews, the children of his beloved brother Jerry and his adoring sister Alice and their children, and the many, many friends of his 4 children, 8 grandchildren, and beloved wife of 59 years, Anna. We are all so fortunate to have some connection with him, big or small. My sisters and I are especially fortunate. We are the beneficiaries of a lifelong master course on love, faith, loyalty, courage, respect, humility, consistency, reliability, and hard work. Even the elective course he offered on politics demonstrated how a lifelong Republican turned Democrat still managed to keep all of his friends. So if you will indulge me, I'm going to share a few of the most important life lessons he taught us kids. Lesson number 1, heroes can be humble. There was nothing my father did which was average. He was the epitome of exceptionalism. As a husband, father, grandfather, uncle, friend, teacher, coach, mentor, or boss, he was a class above, the gold standard by which only others could hope to strive to be. And yet, he was such an unassuming and humble man. Occasionally, I had chance encounters with some of his former football players, and invariably they would speak about an inspiring man who brought out the best in them, and then challenged them to be even better, who treated them with dignity and respect, a coach who made them not just a better player, but a better person. Similarly, when I would meet some of his former students, the refrain was always the same. That was the toughest one-unit elective course I ever took. It changed me. He changed me. There were times when our family would walk through Arcadia and someone would pass by and say, "Hey coach, it's me, your main man." And they would embrace and my father would smile and say, "My main man, how are you?" And after such encounters, one of the kids would say, "Dad, who was that?" And he'd say, "I have no idea." Imagine having the ability to treat everyone so they think that they are your main man. In 2018, when he was inducted into the PCC Sports Hall of Fame, a recognition that came 14 years after his retirement, and frankly, 14 years too late. His entire Hall of Fame speech was about others. Shout-outs to those who hired him, those who mentored him, those he coached or whom he coached with, to family and friends. Not a word about himself. It was always about everyone else. Myron Tarkanian was a real-life hero, entirely satisfied and genuinely grateful to play the supporting role. Husband, father, grandfather, uncle, coach, teacher, mentor, boss, and friend, he excelled at all of it. For so many, and certainly for my sisters and I, he was the wind beneath our wings. One more lesson. Unconditional love. Through his words, good deeds, and actions, my father consistently modeled what I have come to understand as unconditional love. Here's what I learned. Actual love, as in unconditional love, doesn't mean you love everything about the person. It means you don't need the person to be different than they are for you to be happy. He taught me that unconditional love is not based on the performance of the receiver, but on the character of the giver. I stand here today and tell you without reservation or qualification, my father loved me unconditionally every hour of every day of my life. Not just when I did well, but when I failed, sometimes miserably, even when I couldn't love myself. No matter the circumstances, he always loved me. Perhaps my mother had much to do with that, and perhaps his mother too. Thank God for mothers. But this much I know, my dad's love was never conditioned upon his approval. In the midst of my own personal battle with and through addiction, I felt my father's love. When others might have disconnected, and understandably so, he chose to become more connected. Later, when my life got big and full again, and I was sometimes too busy to be present for him, he continued to love me. Happy for my successes, supportive of all my endeavors, worried about how hard I worked. More recently, when doctors suspected I had prostate cancer, my father insisted on accompanying me to the biopsy at Kaiser Hospital. His love carried us both through our respective fears. When we learned the biopsy was negative, I was reminded of his love yet again. The message he texted me upon learning the good news seared in my brain forever. Happiest day ever. Love ya. That was just a month ago. We should all be so lucky to have a father who is proud to have you, scared to lose you, willing to fight for you, always appreciates you, respects you, cares for you, and loves you unconditionally. My sisters and I are truly blessed. We thank you for being here today. Our hope is that our dad's remarkable life and lasting memory will be a comfort to each of you and continue to inspire you, so that through you and those you love, it lives on forever. Thank you.
he's a father to many. To his children, grandchildren, son-in-laws, former players, students, and adopted sons and daughters of all ages, cultures, and background. I am blessed to call him uncle, my uncle. He wasn't blood related, but by choice. My father's best friend and chosen brother. My dad was an only child, and Uncle Myron and my father seemed to adopt each other as brothers. Chosen family, therefore the meaning of uncle becomes richer, as there was no force, no obligation, no contract. It was a chosen bond, a connection that was beyond words, and sometimes very few words, with abrupt hang-ups on the phone. They both knew the other would be there at any moment, 5 minutes later, when they did it all again. They never had a fight. They met in the 4th grade and never had a fight. Not with each other anyways. Janie would ask many times, have you ever had a fight? No. This was more than brotherhood. Their brotherhood started in elementary school and lasted through all stages of life. My dad's freshman year in college started in Arizona, but ended in Redlands, marrying Myron's wife's best friend from their hometown and pledging the same fraternity, forming friendships and alternative brotherhoods that have lasted a lifetime. Indeed, the only thing that separates these friendships is death. But death does not end our connections, conversations, memories, experiences, or love. Uncle Myron did not measure success by wealth, by status, by cars, by the size of your home, by the size of your ring. He was too wise, too secure, too humble, too fearless, too bold, too smart to be fooled by meaningless things. He hated dressing up. He hated being out too late. He started to plan his exit at events when the sun went down. And the exit of his family. There were numerous nights of finding Anna to get her to the car. He was a man of few words, but when he spoke, you listened. He was the observer, the motivator, the instigator, the joker, and the disciplinarian with the heart of a pastor, a rabbi, a priest, or whatever your faith symbolizes to equate benevolence. He was revered, but he didn't ask for it, and he didn't want it. He didn't seek attention. He was the man behind the success of so many men. He let others shine, and it was his way and preference. What I remember, everything. Soccer games, the offices at PCC, running down the hallway on Rodeo Road, the fruit trees in the backyard, the basketball court, the importance of being quiet during naps, breakfast Sunday mornings in the kitchen, dropping Jane off after a night in high school, and stories at school about being scolded after smelling like a brewery. Magic Mountain, Disneyland, and knots for our father-daughter birthdays. College visits to Arizona, San Diego, Cal Lutheran, and Redlands. Our family trips to Hawaii, Lake Powell, Jamaica, stops by the Grand Canyon, don't get too close. Catalina, and basketball games in Vegas. Weddings, weddings, and more weddings. Anniversary parties, shared graduation parties, GMS and H parties. Redlands homecoming, Tarkanian summer get-togethers, and the traditional Christmas parties. I don't know what it will be like to have missing texts during the next political season. He doesn't have to go through that again, and for that we're all grateful. He was a proud American. He was Armenian. He was an athlete. He was a coach. He preferred to keep life simple, but he valued culture, history, sought knowledge and experience, and yearned to see the world. He recognized the importance of travel, of remembering the past to avoid repeating atrocities. I will never listen to Neil Diamond's song again or drive by PCC without crying. I don't know what it will be like when we try to call or text Uncle Myron to tell on my dad. He was our SOS. I don't know, I don't want to know, but he has a higher calling now. Someone, something else, has called on him, and we must learn to be selfish and let him go. Recently, I was asked, what will be your legacy? I don't know, but we know Uncle Myron's legacy. He has touched everyone in this room. Everyone has a story. He is not physically present, but his imprint is on all of us. His life is in yours. How are you going to live it? We can hear his words and predict what he may say. He lives through everyone he's touched. He lives through us, his family. And for those who are lucky enough to call him coach, friend, Mr. Tarkanian, Dad, Papa, Myron, brother, and uncle. I remember leaving for high school and seeing Uncle Myron and Anna coming around the corner on their daily jog. He loved his walks, he loved his family, he loved mornings, he loved the San Gabriel Mountains, he loved his wife, and this is how he left us. Doing what he loves, where he loves, with the person he loves. Now he knows the secret.
All right, those are some very tough acts to follow. I'm going to share a few words here today, my experience as Myron's son-in-law, but I'm also here to represent my amazing wife Kendra and our 3 kids, Myron, Annalie, and Georgia. I love you guys so much. Okay. The first time that I met the man that I now lovingly refer to as Papa was at his home in Arcadia on a random Saturday afternoon. Kendra and I had only been dating a little while, and it was my chance to finally be introduced to her father, who she respected and idolized and absolutely adored. To say he was on a pedestal in his daughter's eyes would be a wild understatement. Let's just say that. After all this buildup and the nerves and anxiety and everything that was going on, the actual exchange itself took place in a matter of seconds. He was reading the newspaper and he lowered it an inch or two, looked at me through his glasses, bifocals, and said, hi. It was a pretty quick exchange. Little did I know that 25 years later, this would be the one memory I have in my relationship with this amazing man and his equally amazing wife, Anna, that I didn't feel loved 100%, unconditionally, welcomed into their home. I have my own key on the keychain to prove it, and treated like I was just as much a part of the family as even his own blood. He listened, he advised, he provided stability, he believed in me. He showed me, and I watched in awe. He was now my father too, and my heart broke in half the day that he passed. But that is the most truly amazing thing about this man. My experience was not unique. You've heard about it a lot today. His capacity to love, encourage, and lift people up is simply unmatched by anybody I have ever met. I mean, just look at this today. Look at everybody here. It's just amazing. 81 years of making other people feel that they are special, that they are worthy, and that they are loved. Just truly remarkable. This has been the hardest 3 weeks of my family's life. The harder you love, the more it hurts. But ultimately, this is not a sad story. Actually, it's far from it. Remember, Papa was a Hall of Fame coach, and he left us a playbook and a championship caliber game plan. And look at us in a locker room, how fitting. He left us a financial game plan. Everything this man did, everything he did in his life was to set his family up for the future. Those of you that know him know that well. I have recently found out just how much this man was working, even up until his very last day. He never mentioned or complained about it. He just got shit done, and he made it happen. I have learned so much from him about how to conduct business the right way. Thank you, Papa. Next, he gave us the X's and O's on how to live with honor. It is said that integrity is when what you think and what you say and what you do are one. Who better role modeled this in his own life than Papa? I witness his impact every day in my wife and my 3 children. His legacy of discipline, compassion, character, and humor will live on for generations. And finally, he left us a relationship game plan. I was able to watch firsthand how a marriage is supposed to work. Now, in fairness, we are talking about 2 of the most amazing human beings that have ever been put on this planet. And I genuinely mean that, Nanny. But still, it took work. It took commitment, and it took compromise. The shared vision that Myron and Anna created and cultivated together made all of this possible. Wow. Just wow. I have so many more stories and so much more to share, but we'll be here all day, and I don't think we need that. I will leave you with this, or I'll leave with this. Papa, you got us to the top of the mountain. You have done your part and then some. We will follow the game plan. We will make you proud. Rest in peace, Papa. We love you.
Hello, everyone. I need 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I need your 4 minutes. I'm so happy Clark said shit, so I don't have to. This is going to be really hard for me, but how fitting that we're in a locker room. I feel like I need to buckle up, Harvey Hyde, Goss, Skip. Let's get the helmets on, shoulder pads, go crush somebody right now. I'm so fired up. And it's just an incredible scenery. Papa, my wife said try to read it. I'll do what I can. I got ADHD, so bear with me. Papa, the only thing better than having you as my father-in-law is my kids, having you as their papa. How do I even begin? You were always my first phone call. I bet you a lot of you guys out there, first phone call. Good, bad, joys or concerns. Big Ram, what's up, bud? What's a good word? You're such a good listener and always made everyone feel important. There's a reason no one ever questioned your advice, because you always knew what to say and you always knew what to do. It pissed me off, but you always knew what to do every time. You mastered the meaning of life. As successful as you were, you managed a simple life, and you were a simple man. He had all this stuff, but was such a simple man. Early in our relationship, I was over, I needed to borrow a sweatshirt, so I run into this closet that's bigger than this room, and I look, and there it is. There's 2 Harvey Hyde buckle-up sweatshirts, 1 pair of shorts, and a pair of socks. This little corner, and I'm amazing. And then don't forget, in the corner, he had his blue, those dolphin shorty shorts. Dolphin shorts. The only guy that I knew that looked cool in the blue dolphin shorts. When I came out, I said, Papa, you don't got no clothes in there. What are you eating? I go, Ran. All I need to do is I need to be comfortable. I need to be comfortable. Did you find what you need? I said, yeah, it's got to put my Harvey Hyde. There was more than 2 Harvey. There was about 14. That was our Papa. Whether it was his outdated 1960 car that he rode into the ground, or that his house completely burns down, and the first phone call, all he cares is about his son, Uncle Bill. How's Uncle Bill? He could care less about what's in there, anything. Bill, are you okay? Good. We're good, buddy. Let me flip the page. Again, this proved just that he was successful and he had mastered truly what life was all about. It's not the material things. It's your family, it's your friends, and it's your relationships. And he knew that. I'll never forget, oh Lord, I'll never forget before my father passed away. He pulled me aside. My dad said, oh man, I don't got to worry about you. Wow, this is a Hall of Fame family. I got no worries. No worries at all. And that meant the world to me. I'm almost done. Papa, your guidance, wisdom, and example has shaped me into the father, husband, friend, man that I am today. They absolutely broke the mold with you. From day one, without judgment, I walked in, long hair, ponytail, friggin' thing, he accepted me, no judgment. Come on in, buddy. Come on in, let's do this. Let's do this. No tattoos. Man, this is it, I apologize. This hurts so freaking much right now. But I still know that he's up there right now. And a lot of you guys that played for him or coached, his big thing is just get it done. Just get it done. And we're going to continue to get it done. Enjoy the simple things in life. All the other crap doesn't matter. Until we meet again, Papa, please say hi to my dad up there and tell him he was right. All is good. I love you.
I'm not sure how this is going to go, so bear with me. I'm overwhelmed with all the familiar faces and faces of loved ones out there. And I'm in awe of how many people this man has impacted, and I am truly thankful to be given the honor to stand before all of you today and share a few words about this incredibly special man. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dave McGrath, the lucky husband of Mr. Key's beautiful daughter, Rose, and whom I'm also speaking on behalf of. Each one of us here today has something significant in common. We're all the sum of individuals that are individually gifted with the blessing of having known Myron, Papa, Mr. T, Dad, Coach, Uncle Myron, or simply Tark. But no matter how you address them by name, you belong to a select and fortunate group whose lives have been greatly enhanced simply by bearing witness to a life that was truly well lived. I'd like to offer a quote from an old Irish novelist that I feel appropriately captures the essence of what Myron Tarkanian was all about. It's a simple quote. It says, "You can preach a better sermon with your life than with your lips." I would never have known how true that is until I saw firsthand and up close for the last 18 plus years, which by the way have been the very best years of my life. He is far and away the best example of how to live by example. He's legendary. He showed us all what an unwavering commitment to family looks like and how important it is. He is, without rival, the best husband, father, and friend I have ever known, and was an equal partner in creating the warmest and most loving home that I have ever stepped foot in. He effortlessly exhibited unconditional love, support, and acceptance, exuded genuine interest in others, and could teach a master class on the art of listening. He demonstrated every day the power of a solid routine, the importance of exercise and eating right. It was dedicated to a life of learning, and he enjoyed sharing what he learned. Can't tell you how much it stings not to see the early morning texts and emails anymore. He showed us that sometimes less is more, but would never skimp on a good education. As everyone's biggest cheerleader, he understood the influence that positive reinforcement has on a person, young and old, and was an incredible motivator, often without saying a word. His smile was as common as the sunrise, and he was the best at staying in touch with those he loved. And while moderation was his mantra, his generosity was unparalleled. He was and is a rock. To me, he was a father I never had, and I am quite sure that he was like a father to many, many more. I vividly remember one of the first times getting to know him early on. He was clipping some roses in his front yard, making zero eye contact with me as I struggled to small talk. And I mentioned that I had interest in being a teacher someday, or perhaps even a coach. And keep in mind, I was a bartender at the time. He stopped clipping, looked at me, and over his glasses said, "Well, you're going to need an education for that." I just went back to his clipping. The point is, the message was heard. And it was at that moment that I realized and I knew that I was going to do what I said I was going to do, simply and mainly because I said it to him. See, that's what he did. He made you want to do better. Your victories were his victories. He was an immense influence on so many, and he will live on forever in our collective hearts and souls. I love you, Papa, and thank you for being you.
Papa, my hero, life coach, cheerleader, and friend. You are my go-to person, the one with all the right answers, whether it's what we wanted to hear or not, and the one who ends up being your first phone call regardless of what information is being shared. Because of you, I wake up every day and know exactly what to do. You've guided me in the right direction my whole life. You've given me every piece of advice that a 24-year-old girl could need, and your wisdom is far beyond anything I can understand. When I feel lost or confused, it's simple. All I have to do is ask myself, what would Papa do? And the answers come to me. I live for the moment sitting in your backyard, or going to happy hour and filling you in on life, school, and friends. Because I always knew whatever I was facing that day would be washed away, and I would leave feeling like I knew what I had to do. Because of you, I know that I am enough. Your wisdom has helped so many people along the way, not only as a grandkids, not only your own kids and loved ones, but hundreds of other people who see you as a mentor, coach, and friend. It takes a special person, someone like you, to touch that many lives, and I, lucky enough, get to say that you're my Papa. I still pick up my phone to call you, but now our conversations are a little different. I will never stop filling you in on life, my successes, my failures, and my milestones. Because I know that no matter what, you will be there, with love to celebrate the good, and even more love and a little harsh truth to get us through the bad. I will continue to live my life through your guidance and wisdom. I would always tell you how much I loved you, and how I don't know what I would ever do without you. And I can't believe this day has come. The loss of your physical presence is one I will never heal from, but it's reassuring to know that no matter what, you are always with me. I promise you, Papa, I will continue to live out all the wonderful qualities you've instilled in me, and I will never stop going to you for advice. What I would do for one more hug, one more laugh, and one more phone call. I love you, I miss you, and I can't wait to see you again.
Growing up, my Papa would always call me the lurker. In his eyes, I've always found a way to eavesdrop, soak up information, and mosey my way into adult conversations. While I often got called out for it and never liked the nickname, I like to believe that I became the lurker because I was in awe of entering conversations where I could observe and learn more about the man that later changed my life. My papa truly was one of the most confident people that I had ever witnessed. From answering the door in his boxers, to going to work with Bell's palsy, to wearing a gray t-shirt and basketball shorts most days of the week, my papa knew who he was, and he did not need anyone's approval otherwise. He never silenced his voice in fear of what others would think, and he was strong in his boundaries. As a result, he was one of the most respected men and truly had some of the strongest friendships that I have ever seen. Upon moving to Colorado to begin college, Papa's example inspired me to become the most confident, assertive, and loyal version of myself. Papa, your example changed the narrative of my life. You allowed me to experience the true joy and freedom that comes with not caring what other people think about you. You proved to me that setting boundaries would lead the wrong people out of my life and the right ones in. You gave me the strength to speak my truth even when my voice shook. And you allowed me to believe that I was worthy of fighting for true friendships. What I would do to have one more conversation to lurk in on, to soak up your wisdom or to sit in awe of your example. Although you are gone, you have never felt closer. It feels as though you are now lurking in on my life from above, with me every step of the way and guiding me through it all, through a soft whisper. I owe all I am to you, Papa.
Papa, you taught me so much and have shaped me into the man I am today. No other man believed in me the way you did, and I felt that every single day. Even though there were 8 of us grandkids, you did not miss a game, recital, or school event. You're my biggest motivation, and everything I have accomplished, I attribute to you. Some of my favorite memories were simply just sitting on your couch, watching and talking ball, or watching some game film and getting your expertise advice that I admired so much. You have no idea how much it meant to me to see my biggest motivation and role model sitting in the stands, rooting for me at every game. Whether it was a flag football game in elementary school or a varsity championship game, you were always there supporting me. There was no better feeling than getting off the bus or showing up to the game and already seeing that my papa was there in the stands. I still look up and think about you after every play. I can hear and feel that you are still there watching, but not from the best seat in the house. You pushed me every step of the way, opened new doors and gave me opportunities that I dreamed of as a little kid. I owe everything to you and Annie. Hopefully I will continue to make you proud. You were the patriarch of our family and built a life for our family that every man wishes and dreams of. All that I do is for you. You did a great job, Papa. I love and miss you. Save me a seat up there.
Dear Papa, my role model, there is no one I have ever met and no one I ever will meet that could possibly have a greater or more positive impact on my life than you have. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be just like you. Everything about you, your humor, your work ethic, your generosity, your love for family, even the way you simply lounge on the couch while watching sports, I admired and wished to replicate. I vividly remember when you first started taking me along to the apartment buildings, when collecting rent and checking on properties. It was when I was first introduced to what you did for work. Despite being probably no older than 7 years old, that exact moment I decided I knew what I wanted to do when I got older. Own buildings like my papa. I had no idea what it meant to own a building, but I knew if Papa was doing it, then so should I. Whenever feeling lost, confused, or unaware of what to do next in life, I can always look to you for guidance. There's no one I trust or respect more, and no one whose footsteps I'd rather follow. As you have told me countless times, and before every one of my basketball games, I always remember to go left. Not just on the court, but in times of uncertainty in life, I will look to you. Words cannot describe how proud and honored I am to be named after an incredible man such as you. You were and always will be my papa, my mentor, my role model, and my best friend. I love you and I miss you, Pops. Sincerely, my Myron. You spent your time here texting and calling family and friends daily with important news, or just checking in and making sure everyone was okay. You lived your life for us and always made sure we understood that the materialistic things did not matter. What mattered to you was making sure that we grew up knowing we were loved. That's exactly what you did. You always put emphasis on making memories. You valued every second we spent together and saw traveling the world as a way to educate ourselves. You found happiness and value in making memories with us as a team. Memories that include taking amazing trips around the world in all parts of Europe, the East Coast, and more. Giving us the opportunity to see places most people won't see in a lifetime, while learning about the great history behind every statue, memorial, and building. I'll always be thankful for those trips because I got to spend the time with the people I love most. You also would have us research the location before going there, and at the time I never understood exactly why we did that. But I look back and realize how educational you really made every trip. Because of you, I will see the importance in every new place I go, and realize that everything has a learning opportunity. I can only wish that one day I will be half the man you are. There are no words and not enough hours in the day to express my gratitude for every memory. I love you, Papa. Now forever and always be your great coup.
Saturday, February 12th at 10:21 a.m. in front of the Arcadia Methodist. It started off a normal morning. Who knew it would be the worst day of my life? True heartbreak isn't enough to say about what I've been feeling from the passing of my papa. Myron Tarkanian, a name that will be secured in the fondest of my memories. A man I look up to, I strive to be, and who all of my achievements are aimed towards. I can hear you now telling me to just do my best and get it done, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I think one of my recent favorite memories would have to be you calling me after finding out about my 100% on my chem test. Trust me, Pops, I was just as surprised as you were. But I think it's one of my favorite memories because you were so proud of me, and that has to be the best feeling a person can feel. Just because such an amazing man told me how proud of me he was. I want to tell you, Pops, I am and will be forever proud of you. Proud of the man you are, proud of the people you chose in your life, proud of the decisions you made, and most of all, proud of how you lived your life and the way you didn't think twice about what people thought. You truly lived life the way you wanted, and I strive to be like you in so many ways. You are the definition of perfect. I know not everyone is, but in my eyes, there's nothing about you I would change. I'm just beyond thankful for a role model like you for my kids, my grandkids, and everyone I have in my life. I will make it a priority to give them a sense of how you were, whether I'm telling them or I prove it to them by putting it into my everyday life. I love you more every day, Papa.
The man I looked up to, my role model, my best friend, suddenly leaving before I could say goodbye. Life will not be close to the same without you by my side, cheering me on and supporting me with everything. Papa, even though I know you're watching over me and protecting me, your presence not being there will hurt forever. How you reach out constantly to me and the family to make sure we are happy and okay will be missed dearly. I would give anything to see you, and I feel lost without you. You have set an inspiration to us cousins to thrive and try our hardest in life to make you happy. Your loss has put a dent in everyone's heart that forever will stay. The 2 years I got to live with you and be around you every day was a blessing. Our daily talks about sports, watching TV every night, and of course waking up to our own personal alarm clock of you screaming up and at Papa, you were the reason why I got out of bed every morning, and I surely won't disappoint you. I miss those random texts I got from you to make my day, and I would kill for one more. I wish I could get another piece of the best motivational advice a man can get from someone, but I will not forget what advice you have given me. Papa, you have taught me the best version of responsibility, respect, and effort. You have heavily changed not just our lives, but all your friends and people in need. I had no clue what I would do without you, but now I have to feel the worst loss a person can experience. Not hearing you screaming at my sports events and being my #1 fan won't be the same, but I promise to do everything for you. I am grateful I have the best possible guardian angel to help fight whatever life throws at me. You will never be forgotten. Love you, Pops.
Papa, what I would do for one last hug, Dutch rub, kiss on the forehead, knuckle sandwich, or to hear you say Porge as I walked through the door. There was never a moment where I questioned your love for me. You always had the ability to see the good in everyone, regardless of the mistakes or flaws of others. Whenever I would see Papa, I could always expect 101 questions being asked about how I was, and whenever I would ask him a question, the subject would be quickly changed back to me. I would always walk away from Papa feeling better about myself, and that's what Papa did. He made people feel good. I think I can speak for all of us grandkids that the second something great would happen in our lives, the first person that would come to mind to tell would be Papa. No matter how small the achievement was, Papa would make us feel on top of the world and share our successes to everyone around him. For instance, 2 days before his passing, Papa sent out a text to our family group chat saying how he couldn't believe I was almost 15 years old and how much he loved me. Upon receiving this message, everyone in the family was confused as to why he sent out a happy birthday text 2 weeks before my actual birthday. It was almost as if Papa knew that he was going to leave us 2 days later and not be able to celebrate with me on my actual birthday. But that's who my Papa was. He wasn't going to leave me without making me feel like the most special girl in the world one last time. How fitting. Well, I won't get one last hug. I promise you this, Papa. I promise to make people feel special, brag about others behind their backs, and never let others question my love for them. Your legacy does not end here.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. You can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Mountains, we gon' walk it out and mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the age. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Mountains, bring it to its feet. Mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid.
has never tasted better. Thank you. We love you all.
Well, you've just about heard it all. There's not much more I can add to it, except tell you that you plan your life. You plan everything you do. Myron and I were very close. In fact, we were closer than brothers. He was my third arm, my third eye, my third ear, my third foot. We did it all. And when anything we wouldn't do for each other at any time in any way. We shared everything we have in life with our children, with our facilities, our homes. There isn't anything we wouldn't do together. As far as the things, the way we believe it, if you had to do it again, how would you do it? Would you do it differently? I've talked to Myron about this. We talk about the older you get, you start talking about different things. And we both said to each other, we wouldn't do it any different either way. Myron once told Anna, and Anna, I hate to tell you this, he says, Anna, you think I could have done better picking a woman? Anna said, Harv, can you believe he said that? Well, of course, he liked to kid. He used to always kid me on what? April Fool's Day. I don't keep track of all those days. So he would always call me and say something like, oh, no, did that really happen? And then he'd call me back later. And I'd already packed my bags headed to the border. Myron was a guy that, up to the last minute, we have discussed on who goes first. And if I go first, if you go first, this is what we're going to do. So basically, everything doesn't change. Our families don't change. Our people that, in our businesses don't change. The first thing I did was let them know there's nothing going to change. Instead of me having 2 daughters and 2 children, I now have 6. I didn't have any grandchildren, so now I have 8. And I don't know what people are going to think of this, but I have 2 wives, too. So I don't know about that, but to talk about our lives and what we've accomplished together is, you know, we were a couple of idiots that went to Pasadena High School and elementary school together. And, you know, if you don't think big, how can you be big? If you don't have high goals, how can you get anywhere? And both of us figured if we set our goals this high and we just got this far, we did all right. I wasn't the smartest guy in the world, and he was smarter than I was, so we both figured if we're not going to do it on brains, we're going to do it on what? Common sense. On what's right and what's wrong, and don't be afraid to work. Now, what's common about Myron and I is my parents ran a little store. His parents ran a little store. How could that be? He moved to Pasadena, right across the street from my parents' store. So all of a sudden we met each other. And from that day on, which is about 75 years, we have bonded, planned, loved, and cherished everything we've done together. I can honestly tell you this, I've never cursed at the man. And if you know my mouth, I don't think I could say that about anybody. Never did. Now, we've been in business for years, and I know most of you know the different things we've done. He handled the apartments and the monies and the portions of that, and I know a lot of you have heard this before. But over the 30 years or 40 years we've been in business, I have never asked for an audit in any way. Never. And you tell me what kind of business can survive in that type of situation. When we came back from the University of Hawaii, Dr. Armin Serafian said, could you guys get along and be co-head coaches? Now, have you ever heard of co-head coaches? The only way that can happen if it's Myron, Tarkanian, and myself. We came back, we were co-head coaches, we believed in each other, we didn't win everything, but we learned the hard way, and that's by losing. And we don't want to lose too much, because if you lose too much, you're not very successful. So we remember all the things we did wrong, but we remember all the things we did right. When I came in today, the first 5 people I saw, or close to the first 5 people I saw, were from teams that say, Coach, do you remember me? Coach, do you remember me? Coach, do you remember this? And if I added up all those records of those people, and I told them when I saw them, it's something like 70-0-1 when we were at Pasadena City College. 2 Junior Rose Bowls, a Potato Bowl, and all the different type of bowl games you could play in the community colleges. He was a man that, as everyone said, figured out that families, friends, relationships are far more important than anything else. He wasn't a mannequin. What I mean by a mannequin, he wasn't somebody that tried to always dress properly and do this and do that. He said, take me as I am. And that was him. He didn't yell much, but he could scold you. And when he's had enough, he'd let you know it. But he was the type of guy that did it with love. And both of us always agreed you can't spank your child or spank anyone until that person knows that you care about him. And once you care about that individual, you can do just about anything to him because he knows you're doing it because he deserves it. You're trying to make him a better person. And that's what Myron Tarkanian was. I look at his children, I look at his grandchildren, I see his family from Vegas and everywhere else. People are here. I see Lois Tarkanian. I want to thank Lois for coming down from Las Vegas. I see all the people that are in the back room that have stood up during a long ceremony. But when you look in this room and you see the pictures on this wall, and you think of the championship teams that have played in this room, the Ohio States, the Super Bowls, and they've dressed in this room, this is the only place to have it in this room. We brought it to this room because of the rain and the threat. We were going to have it on the field in the end zone where you could watch the big screen and see those videos. But when you go to the press box, you'll be able to see it on the big screens for the reception. We want you to know you're all invited to the reception in the press box. We suggest that you walk around and don't try to do the steps, because the steps I tried to do the other day and I barely made it to the top, okay? So I suggest you walk around. But the Rose Bowl is something that brings a lot to Pasadena. Myron brought a lot to Pasadena. Myron came to Pasadena, stayed in Pasadena. I left Pasadena, then came back to Pasadena. I was born in Pasadena. So Pasadena is my hometown, and now I can say it's been his hometown for the last 70 years or 80 years when he moved to 1112 North Sierra Bonita. That's where I lived, where my dad's store was, and he was right across the street. In those days, we never fought. But he's the type of guy that always was a matchmaker. Do you remember when they used to have big-time wrestling? Yeah, I don't know how many of you remember Leon, or what's his name, very own, whatever. Yeah, somebody's been watching it. Yeah. And, well, we used to, you know, he had a TV. A lot of people didn't have TVs. So I would try to sneak over at night and look in his window to watch TV, some of the shows that were going on. He would turn around at that time and see I was looking. All the great. I never did get an answer up here about that. But, you know, we can laugh about those things and the things we did, but seriously, you've heard it all from the family. You've heard it all from the people that are here from all over. I ran into one player, Scott Decker, who played on our 77, I think, undefeated team, who played in the Junior Rose Bowl here. Flew in from Denver. People from Las Vegas. There's people from all over. You know, in this room are special people. because you thought enough of him to come today when there's a lot of opportunities to do a lot of other different things. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. The family appreciates it. I'd like to sit up here and talk and talk and talk, but you've been here a long time. All I can say is the family loves him. We love the family. You loved him or you wouldn't be here. And as he said every day, game day is every day. And I said, always have a winning day. I used to say that, and I say that even when I end my broadcast. Please have a winning day. Make a game plan. Make sure you have your life scheduled so when you come to these periods of time, you're ready for it. Myron went out the way he wanted to. Myron went out the way he wanted to. He talked about it, he used to tell me, Harv, I'm living on borrowed time. And I said, let's get a little overtime. And he used to tell me, borrowed time, Harv, borrowed time. And he says, I want to go down. I don't want to suffer. I don't want my family to suffer. I don't want them to see me dwindle away. I want to just be here and gone. And that's exactly what happened to him. And we just talked about this recently. Ann and I know, him and I talk about everything, okay? We're not afraid of death. And because we're leaving the people we love so much, better than what we had when we got here. And that's exactly what my family wanted for me. My mom and dad never went to college. I don't even know if they graduated from high school. I know Myron's mom and dad never went to college. But they taught us to work hard and to get what we need to get and take care of your family. So they left us. Myron's left us. Someday I'll live and we'll all feel good about it. The time we spent here wasn't wasted. We got it done not only for our family, but the players and the teams and the people that have gone on and the doctors and lawyers or whatever you are. They're so proud. We're so proud of you because you made an attempt to be successful, because everybody doesn't come from the same household. Everybody doesn't come from the same walk of life. And in our business and what we did, we didn't care who you were or where you came from. All we cared about is our door was open to you. We had parties at our homes. We invited you anywhere we went, and we really cared about you. So again, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Darrell Dunn and the Rose Bowl for this beautiful opportunity to come to this great place to pay tribute to a great person in Myron Tarkanian. And again, I don't know who closed this event or not. I don't know if you come back up. But come on up. I wrap it up? All right, then I'm going to wrap it up. You know, there's one thing we always said. When you go into life, whenever I broke a meeting, I used to say, ready? Break. All right? So we've just finished here. Oh, he's got to speak, huh?
You wrap it up.
All right, you come on up here. You can tell I'm still coaching, okay? Thank you very much for coming today. I didn't know what I was going to do.
Please stand for our final blessing. May the light of God surround you, the love of God enfold you, the power of God protect you, the presence of God watch over you, the mind of God guide you, the life of God flow through you, the laws of God direct you, the peace of God abide within you, the joy of God uplift you, the strength of God renew you, the beauty of God inspire you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Amen. That's it, folks. That's it.
I should have told you when you went up there when you were ready to break. He said he always had his ready to break. It's a huddle thing. It's a football thing. When they used to huddle.
For those of you that need assistance getting to the press box, we have a few golf carts if you're
have a couple golf carts to assist you over to the press box. You walk up the ramp and turn to the right. Then we'll have a short reception for those of you that want to stick around in the press box.
You said an hour and a half, it was about an hour and a half. That was very good. I liked your beginning. You want to start working your way back before they all start exiting?
Mercedes